essential for activating the cellular machinery that literally builds and repairs muscle tissue. And here's the surprising part. Without enough of this mineral, your body can't properly use the protein you're eating. That mineral is magnesium. Now, why should this matter to you, especially if you're over 60? Because muscle loss after midlife isn't just about aesthetics or strength. It's deeply connected to your brain health, immune resilience, metabolic function, and even how well you sleep. Research from the NIH shows that older adults lose 8% of their muscle mass every decade after 30. And that rate accelerates after 60. This isn't just about aging, it's about whether or not your biology is being supported to rebuild and regenerate. Here's what's fascinating. Magnesium is required for over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, but one of its most important roles lies in how it regulates energy production inside your muscle cells, particularly through mitochondria. When magnesium levels drop, ATP, the energy currency your cells use to build and repair, can't be produced efficiently. That means slower recovery, weaker muscle contraction, and impaired muscle protein synthesis, even if you're getting enough protein. We'll break all this down today. In this episode, we're going to explore 6 core breakthroughs around how magnesium directly impacts muscle rebuilding and how to make sure you're getting the right kind in the right form at the right time of day to maximize its impact. You'll learn how magnesium enhances muscle protein synthesis even without extra protein, what happens in your brain when magnesium levels fall and why that makes your body weaker, which type of magnesium actually gets into your muscle cells. Not all of them do. A simple 3-step daily protocol to raise magnesium levels safely and effectively. What foods, habits, and medications are silently draining your magnesium stores? And finally, how optimizing magnesium can improve sleep, energy, and even emotional stability, all of which feed into better muscle function. Let's get into the science and the tools you can start applying today to rebuild strength, energy, and resilience from the inside out. If you're over 60 and noticing weakness in your legs, slower recovery after walking or working out, or even a subtle loss of muscle tone, you might assume you just need more protein. That's the common advice. But here's what the research shows. Protein without the right cofactors can't build muscle efficiently. And magnesium is one of the most critical of those cofactors, yet it's missing in up to 50% of older adults, according to data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, NHANEs. So what's really happening when magnesium is low? First, magnesium plays a direct role in muscle protein synthesis, the process your body uses to repair and rebuild muscle fibers. This isn't just theoretical. A 2013 study published in the journal Nutrients found that older adults with higher magnesium levels had significantly better grip strength, knee extensor strength, and overall muscle mass, regardless of protein intake. That means magnesium isn't just helpful, it's essential. Second, your muscles can't contract or relax properly without magnesium. Every time you move, there's an exchange of calcium and magnesium ions across the neuromuscular junction. Calcium causes muscle fibers to contract. Magnesium allows them to relax. When magnesium is deficient, muscles may cramp, spasm, or fatigue more quickly. It's like driving a car with a stuck accelerator and worn out brakes. Your system gets stressed, inflamed, and exhausted. Now add aging into the equation. After age 60, your digestive efficiency declines. You don't absorb nutrients as effectively. On top of that, medications like diuretics, proton pump inhibitors, and even some antibiotics can deplete magnesium. Stress and caffeine do it too, so you're fighting a biochemical uphill battle. Even if your diet is technically healthy, and this is where people get stuck, they're eating well, adding protein shakes, but still feeling weaker over time. The missing link, magnesium. The mineral that allows protein to work. Here's a simple way to test this. After your meals, especially those with protein, notice how your energy and strength feel 2 hours later. If you feel bloated, fatigued, or mentally sluggish, it could be your body struggling to metabolize protein because it lacks the magnesium to activate the necessary enzymes. A simple tool to apply is this. Begin tracking your daily magnesium intake from both food and supplements. Most adults over 60 need about 400 to 420 milligrams per day, men, and 310 to 320 milligrams, women. Yet average intake is often 30 to 30% lower. Leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and black beans are excellent whole food sources, but many people will need supplemental support to reach optimal levels. In short, if you're trying to build or maintain muscle and haven't addressed magnesium, you're missing the foundation. Protein is the bricks, magnesium is the construction crew. Let's go deeper into the cellular machinery and talk about mitochondria. These tiny powerhouses inside your muscle cells are responsible for producing the energy that drives every movement, every contraction, and every repair process in your body. When your mitochondria are healthy and active, your muscles regenerate faster, your energy is steadier, your strength returns more quickly after workouts or injury. But when they're underpowered, everything slows down, including muscle growth. Here's where magnesium becomes critical. Every unit of energy your body produces, known as ATP or adenosine triphosphate, must be bound to magnesium to be biologically active. In other words, ATP is not usable unless it's in the form of Mg at P. No magnesium, no energy. That's not just theoretical. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Physiology showed that mitochondrial function is directly dependent on magnesium concentrations. When magnesium is low, mitochondria don't produce enough energy, which leads to muscle fatigue, impaired repair, and even greater loss of muscle fibers over time, especially in older adults. Now think about what this means functionally. If you go for a walk and your legs feel heavy halfway through, or if a light workout leaves you exhausted the next day, it might not be your age. It might be mitochondrial fatigue from chronic magnesium depletion. This is why magnesium is more than just a supplement, it's a cellular activator. What's happening in your body when this deficiency occurs is a silent energy crisis. Your muscles can't rebuild because your mitochondria don't have the raw materials. And the more tired your mitochondria are, the less oxygen your muscle fibers receive and the longer recovery takes. This can become a vicious cycle, leading many older adults to mistakenly assume they should slow down or accept aging, when in fact their biology just needs to be recharged. So how do you support your mitochondria? Here's a simple protocol. Start your morning with a magnesium-rich green smoothie. Include spinach, pumpkin seeds, and a tablespoon of cacao powder. Hydrate with filtered water and a pinch of sea salt. Sodium supports magnesium transport. Avoid overdoing caffeine early in the day, which can deplete magnesium. Take 100 to 200 mg of highly bioavailable magnesium glycinate or malate in the morning and again at night. This dual dose strategy supports both daytime energy, mitochondria, and nighttime repair, nervous system, and muscle relaxation. If this insight is helping you connect the dots, consider subscribing. There's more where this came from, and it helps us reach others who need these science-backed tools. Because remember, building muscle after 60 isn't just about lifting weights. It's about empowering the very cells that make strength possible. When we think of muscle loss, we often imagine the muscle tissue itself shrinking or weakening. But what's often overlooked is that strength begins not in the muscle, but in the brain. Every time you move, a signal travels from your brain down the spinal cord, through motor neurons, and into your muscle fibers. This brain-to-muscle communication is what allows your body to generate strength, power, and coordination. And magnesium plays a central role in this communication channel. What's happening in your brain when magnesium levels drop is both fascinating and concerning. Magnesium helps regulate NMDA receptors, key components in your brain that control synaptic plasticity and the excitability of neurons. When magnesium is sufficient, these receptors remain in a balanced, healthy state, allowing smooth transmission of nerve signals to your muscles. But when magnesium is low, these receptors can become overstimulated, leading to neural fatigue, slower reaction times, and impaired motor coordination. A 2016 study published in Neuropharmacology found that magnesium deficiency increases neuronal excitability and impairs neuromuscular transmission. That means even if your muscles are physically capable, they may not be receiving clean, accurate signals from your brain. This explains why some people over 60 experience shaky hands, unsteady balance, or delayed movements, not because their muscles are too weak, but because the signal is distorted. Magnesium restores clarity to that neural pathway. Here's an everyday analogy. Imagine trying to stream a high-definition movie over a weak Wi-Fi signal. The movie keeps buffering, the audio cuts out, and the whole experience becomes frustrating. And that's your nervous system on low magnesium. The message can't get through clearly. But when magnesium is restored, the signal improves. Reaction time gets faster, movements become more fluid, strength becomes more reliable. And you can actually test this yourself in subtle ways. Try doing a balance exercise like standing on one leg with your eyes closed before and after a week of consistent magnesium intake. You may notice steadier control and quicker muscular adjustments. That's your neuromuscular system responding. To support this pathway, try adding magnesium threonate to your routine. This form crosses the blood-brain barrier more effectively than others, directly nourishing the brain. A typical dose is around 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams, which provides tilde 140 of elemental magnesium, taken in the evening to support both neural recovery and sleep. Another tip, combine magnesium with B vitamins, especially B6, which helps transport magnesium into cells and enhances neurotransmitter synthesis. So remember, strength doesn't begin in the gym, it begins in your nervous system. And magnesium is the silent nutrient that keeps your neural Wi-Fi fast, strong, and reliable. By now, it's clear that magnesium is essential for muscle rebuilding, energy production, and brain-to-muscle coordination. But here's a key insight that many people, and even some health professionals, miss. Not all forms of magnesium are created equal. Some types are absorbed efficiently into the bloodstream and muscle tissue. Others pass through your system with minimal effect. And the timing of when you take magnesium can also influence how well your body uses it for muscle recovery and strength gains. Let's break this down. There are over 10 different forms of magnesium available in supplements, and each behaves differently in your body. Some are ideal for the nervous system, some for digestion, some for muscle tissue. Understanding this gives you a distinct advantage, especially after 60, when absorption naturally declines. Here are the top 3 forms most relevant to rebuilding muscle. Magnesium glycinate. This form is bound to the amino acid glycine, which has a calming effect on the nervous system. It's well absorbed and gentle on the stomach. Magnesium glycinate is ideal for muscle relaxation, recovery, and sleep, making it perfect for nighttime use. A 2020 study in magnesium research found this form particularly effective at reducing muscle tension and improving quality of rest. Magnesium malate, bound to malic acid, which plays a key role in ATP production in the mitochondria. This form supports daytime energy, muscle endurance, and reduced fatigue. It's often recommended for those with chronic fatigue or muscle pain and is ideal for morning or early afternoon use to support active recovery. Magnesium threonate. This is the brain-boosting form. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and enhances cognitive and neuromuscular function. While not the best for muscle building alone, it enhances motor control and mental clarity and works synergistically with the other forms to optimize the brain-muscle connection. Now, which forms should you avoid? Magnesium oxide and sulfate are poorly absorbed and often used as laxatives. They may show up on supplement labels because they're cheap to produce, but they won't help your muscles or nervous system in a meaningful way. Let's talk dosing. Most people over 60 will benefit from a total daily intake of 350 to 420 milligrams of elemental magnesium, not total capsule weight. Here's a sample protocol. Morning, 100 to 150 milligram magnesium malate, with breakfast to support energy and mitochondrial activity. Evening, 200 to 250 magnesium glycinate before bed to enhance muscle repair and support restful sleep. Optional, 1,000 to 2,000 magnesium threonate, yielding tilde 140 magnesium elemental to support brain and neuromuscular function. And timing matters. Why? Because your magnesium needs shift with your circadian rhythm. During the day, your body is in an active energy-consuming state. This is when mitochondrial support matters most. At night, your nervous system shifts into repair and parasympathetic tone. This is when calming, muscle-repairing magnesium becomes key. If you've been taking a generic magnesium supplement and not seeing results, this may be why. Upgrading to targeted forms and aligning them with your body's rhythm can transform the way your muscles feel and function. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, hit the like button and consider subscribing. This channel exists to bring you science-backed tools to enhance your body, brain, and life without fluff or hype. Now we're going to uncover a surprising trap, the silent magnesium drainers hiding in your food, medications, and daily stress, and how to stop them before they undo your progress. You might be eating a healthy diet. You might be taking a magnesium supplement. But here's a key insight from the science. Many people over 60 are still magnesium deficient, not because they don't get enough, but because they're losing too much, quietly, daily, through habits, medications, and stress patterns that drain magnesium faster than the body can replace it. Let's begin with one of the most common culprits, medications. Diuretics, proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, certain antibiotics, and even some blood pressure medications can cause the kidneys to excrete more magnesium. For example, thiazide diuretics, often prescribed to manage high blood pressure, are well documented to increase magnesium loss through urine. According to a review in the American Journal of Therapeutics, long-term use of these drugs is associated with a significantly higher risk of magnesium depletion. Here's the hidden cost. You may feel tired, sore, or mentally foggy and attribute it to age or diet, when the root cause is medication-induced mineral loss. Next, let's talk about stress. Psychological stress isn't just in your head. It has a direct, measurable impact on your physiology, especially your magnesium levels. When your body enters a fight or flight state, it increases the excretion of magnesium through the urine. A 2012 study published in Clinical Nutrition found that people under chronic stress had consistently lower serum magnesium, even with normal dietary intake. So when you're under pressure, emotionally, mentally, or physically, you're not just using more magnesium, you're actively losing it. Even things we consider healthy can be draining. Excessive caffeine, for example. A morning cup or two is fine, but multiple coffees or energy drinks throughout the day can increase urinary magnesium loss. Same with alcohol. And even some high-fiber foods, while beneficial in other ways, can bind to magnesium in the gut and reduce absorption if your intake isn't high enough. Here's what you can do. Create a simple magnesium preservation protocol built around protection and replenishment. Ask your doctor whether your current medications may affect magnesium levels, especially if you're on PPIs or diuretics. Buffer stress through deep breathing, short nature walks, or mindfulness. Even 5 minutes twice a day can reduce cortisol and preserve mineral balance. Limit caffeine after noon and alcohol to 1 to 2 servings weekly. Rebuild lost stores by combining food-based magnesium, leafy greens, seeds, legumes, with targeted supplements as discussed earlier. Hydrate wisely. Use mineralized water or add a pinch of sea salt to filtered water to aid electrolyte absorption. Have you ever noticed that even after eating well and supplementing, your energy still feels off or your muscles still feel stiff or weak? That's often the invisible cost of depletion and the body's quiet way of asking for deeper support. The empowering part is this: once you identify and remove the hidden drainers, the magnesium you do take finally begins to work the way it's supposed to. Now, we'll look beyond muscle and uncover how magnesium improves your sleep, lowers inflammation, and enhances emotional resilience, all of which further supports strength, recovery, and aging well. By now, it's clear that magnesium is fundamental to rebuilding muscle, especially after 60. But to truly understand its impact, we have to zoom out, because what magnesium does outside your muscles may be just as important as what it does inside them. Let's start with sleep, the unsung hero of muscle recovery. High-quality sleep is when the majority of muscle repair occurs. Your body shifts into anabolic mode, releasing growth hormone, repairing damaged tissue, and restoring your nervous system. But here's the kicker. Magnesium is essential for activating GABA, a neurotransmitter that quiets the brain and signals your body to transition into deep, restorative sleep. In a randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences, older adults who supplemented with magnesium for 8 weeks experienced significant improvements in sleep time, efficiency, and onset latency. In other words, they fell asleep faster, slept deeper, and woke feeling more restored. This matters because when sleep is shallow or fragmented, even if you're in bed for 8 hours, your muscles don't fully rebuild as you wake up feeling weak, inflamed, or emotionally flat. Optimizing magnesium, especially in the evening, can shift that entire pattern. But magnesium doesn't just influence recovery, it actively reduces inflammation, a major contributor to muscle breakdown and chronic disease. A 2021 meta-analysis in Biological Trace Element Research confirmed that magnesium supplementation significantly lowers C-reactive protein, CRP, a key marker of systemic inflammation. That's critical for older adults because chronic inflammation, even at low levels, accelerates muscle loss, joint pain, and metabolic decline. It's often invisible until symptoms start stacking up. And now let's look at the third pillar, emotional resilience. Have you ever felt more emotionally reactive, anxious, or irritable after a poor night's sleep or during a stressful stretch of life? That's your nervous system being stretched thin. Magnesium supports it by regulating the HPA axis, the part of your brain that governs your stress response. When magnesium is low, the brain interprets everyday events as more threatening. This leads to elevated cortisol, heightened blood pressure, and even impaired focus and decision-making. But when magnesium levels are optimal, the brain re-regulates. You think more clearly, you feel calmer, you recover from challenges faster. That emotional balance directly improves your ability to stay active, motivated, and consistent with healthy habits. But here's a simple evening routine to support all three systems: muscle, inflammation, and mood. 90 minutes before bed, dim the lights, unplug from screens. Take 200 to 250 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or a blend with threonate. Journal for 3 minutes, a gratitude list or simple reflection to calm the prefrontal cortex. Hydrate with warm lemon water or a magnesium-rich herbal tea like chamomile or rooibos. When this becomes a habit, you're not just repairing muscle, you're rewiring your brain for better recovery, better stress regulation, and ultimately better health. So the takeaway here is simple. Magnesium is not a muscle supplement. It's a master regulator, linking your sleep, emotions, inflammation levels, and cellular strength into one coherent system. When you optimize it, you don't just feel stronger, you become more resilient across every domain of your life. Let's step back and connect the dots. We began with a simple, science-backed truth that challenges conventional wisdom. You can't rebuild muscle effectively after 60 with protein alone. That's because your body's ability to use that protein to convert it into actual strength, tissue, and recovery depends on something far more foundational: magnesium. We've walked through 6 powerful insights. Magnesium is the unsung hero of muscle protein synthesis. Without it, even a high-protein diet falls short. Your mitochondria, the powerhouses that fuel every muscle contraction, need magnesium to generate ATP and keep your muscles energized. Your brain relies on magnesium to send strong, clear signals to your muscles. That neuromuscular connection is where strength truly begins. Not all magnesium is created equal. The right form, dose, and timing matter, and customizing your intake unlocks real results. Day stress, medications, and certain foods quietly drain your magnesium stores, but with awareness, you can stop the loss and protect your reserves. And finally, magnesium doesn't just support muscle, it improves your sleep, lowers inflammation, and strengthens your emotional resilience. These systems are all connected, and magnesium is the thread that ties them together. Here's the deeper truth. Muscle loss after 60 isn't inevitable. It's often a signal, a message from your biology that a critical foundation is missing. When you restore that foundation, something incredible happens. Strength returns, energy stabilizes, recovery accelerates, sleep deepens, mood improves. You begin to feel like you again. Not older, but wiser and more capable than before. So what's one tool you can try today? Start tonight. Take 200 to 250 milligrams of magnesium glycinate 90 minutes before bed. Pair it with a screen-free wind down and some light stretching. Give your body the conditions it needs to recover and observe how you feel in the morning. Not just physically, but emotionally. Over time, that simple ritual can restore what years of slow depletion have taken away. And as you apply these tools, whether it's upgrading your magnesium, timing your supplements better, or protecting your levels from stress and meds, know that you're not just optimizing muscle, You're upgrading the systems that make long-term health possible. If this resonated with you, if it helped you reframe how you think about muscle, aging, and strength, I invite you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your biggest takeaway in the comments. This community is built on science-backed tools, intelligent conversations, and real growth. Your experience can help someone else take the first step. Because here's the mission. Aging isn't about decline, it's about adaptation. And with the right tools, grounded in neuroscience, physiology, and behavioral change, you can build a body and brain that supports you for decades to come. Let's keep growing intelligently, powerfully,